Destroy the weak you, rebuild the unbreakable you. You say you want to grow. You say you want freedom. You say you want to become someone who cannot be broken. But every day, you let the weaker version of yourself win. You hit snooze. You scroll. You wait for motivation. And deep down, a voice whispers, "Maybe this is all I am." No. That version of you? The one that avoids discomfort, that caves under fear, that lets anxiety run the show? That version must die. Because if you don't kill the weak you, it will keep killing your potential. And the world will never meet the version of you that was meant to lead, to build, to rise. You don't destroy the weak version with rage. You destroy it with discipline. You don't overcome fear with noise. You overcome it with stillness, with action, with clarity. And you don't become unbreakable by chasing motivation. You become unbreakable by mastering the habits that shape warriors. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. This is not just another video. This is a mirror. A moment to face who you've been. And choose who you will become. So here's the truth. You already have what it takes. You've just been giving your power away, every day, in tiny, quiet ways. That ends now. In this video you'll learn how to silence fear before it controls you, how to burn the version of yourself that keeps playing small, and how to master the 6 habits that make you mentally bulletproof. The world doesn't need another person pretending to be okay. It needs you, unshaken, unafraid, undeniable. Let's begin. Number 1. Kill the weak version of yourself. The weak self isn't you. Let's be honest, you already know there's a weaker version of you. The one who snoozes the alarm. Who hides from challenges. Who avoids the hard conversations. Who wants comfort more than change. That version isn't the real you. It's the version shaped by fear. By bad habits. By the stories you've repeated to yourself for years. But here's the truth. You are not your excuses. You are not your lowest standards. You are not your worst days. Every single day, you face a decision. You either let that weak voice run the show, or you choose to silence it with action. The weak version of you says, "You're tired. Just rest a little more. You'll probably fail. Don't bother. Don't speak up. It's not worth the risk." But the stronger version, the one buried underneath all that noise, is waiting. Waiting for you to stop feeding weakness with your attention. Waiting for you to reclaim the power that's been yours all along. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is not about being harsh on yourself. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about recognizing that if you keep living by the standards of your weakest self, you'll never unlock the life that only your strongest self can live. So today, do this. Write down the 3 excuses you hear most often in your mind. Now write your answer to each, calmly, firmly, as if your life depended on it. Because it does. The moment you stop believing those excuses is the moment your real life begins. You don't need to fight the world. You just need to stop surrendering to the part of you that fears your own power. You don't rise when things get easier. You rise when you decide to stop being who you're not. And finally become who you are. Break the victim mindset. The first battle you must win is against the silent enemy, your own victim mindset. It whispers, "Why does this always happen to me?" It justifies an action with blame. It finds comfort in helplessness. But the Stoics never embraced helplessness. They believed in radical ownership. When something goes wrong, the question is not, "Who's to blame?" The question is this within my control? That's the Stoic pivot. From complaint to clarity. from blaming others to building yourself. Epictetus put it plainly. We are not disturbed by events, but by our opinions about them. And the most dangerous opinion? That we are powerless. Here's the shift. Every time you catch yourself saying, "They made me feel this way," stop. No one makes you feel anything. They acted, but you chose the meaning. Victimhood is seductive because it absolves you of responsibility. But it also strips you of power. You can't control everything that happens. But you always control how you respond, and who you become because of it. This is the Stoic lens. What's in your control? Focus on that. What's outside your control? Let it go. Try this daily reflection. Is this thought helping me reclaim my power, or keep me in pain? Because power isn't found in control over others. It's found in control over your response, your habits, your mindset. Victim thinking says, "This happened to me. I'm stuck." Stoic thinking says, "This happened. Now what will I do with it?" You're not a passenger in your life. You are the driver. So take the wheel. Stop waiting for someone else to change. Start changing what's yours to command, your focus, your actions, your future. Because you are not a victim. You are a student. And this moment is your lesson. Let's move forward. Face yourself in the mirror. There's a mirror you avoid, not the one that shows your face, but the one that reflects your choices. Most people are afraid to look at themselves honestly. They distract, deny, or deflect. But the Stoic? They turn inward, with courage, not criticism. Marcus Aurelius didn't write Meditations for applause. He wrote it to face himself. Every day, he audited his mind, his actions, and his motives. Why? Because self-deception is the enemy of growth. And the truth, even when uncomfortable, is the first step to freedom. Here's your practice. Every evening before bed, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? Not to brag, but to reinforce your values. Where did I fall short? Not to shame, but to learn. What will I do differently tomorrow? Not for perfection, but for progress. This is the Stoic habit of honest self-audit. No filters. No excuses. No pretending. It's not easy. You might see habits you've avoided. Words you regret. Moments where fear won. But that reflection? That's your greatest teacher. Now take it further. Write a letter from your future self. The version of you who stayed disciplined. Who made the hard choices. Who didn't give up when it got quiet or hard. Ask that future version. What did you stop doing to get here? What did you start doing? What mindset did you outgrow? Then read that letter often. Let it guide you, not from guilt, but from vision. Because the mirror doesn't lie. But it also doesn't judge. It simply reveals. And when you learn to face yourself fully, you stop fearing criticism from others. You stop hiding behind image. You start living from integrity. Remember, the Stoic path isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about seeing what's real. Look clearly. Live honestly. And let the mirror become your compass, not your critic. Shift your inner identity. Before you can change your life, you must change the story you tell yourself. Too many people walk through life wearing old labels like chains. I'm not disciplined. I always quit. I'm just not that type of person. But the Stoic doesn't live by identity. They live by principle. Marcus Aurelius never called himself perfect. He simply reminded himself daily. Be like the rock. Unmoved by the waves. Not because he was strong, but because he chose to act like it. That's the Stoic truth. You don't need a new personality. You need a new pattern. Here's how to shift your inner identity. Change I am statements. Stop saying, I'm weak, I'm lost, or I'm broken. Start saying, I'm learning to become stronger. I'm rebuilding. I'm choosing growth today. This isn't lying to yourself. It's aligning with who you want to become. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Act your future, not your past. Don't wait until you feel like a confident person to speak clearly. Speak clearly, and you become confident. Don't wait until you believe you're disciplined to wake up early. Wake up early, and you'll start to believe. Identity isn't built by intention. It's built by repetition. Use Stoic affirmations. Not to hype yourself up, but to anchor you. Repeat. I am not what I feel. I am what I choose. My past does not define me. My discipline does. I don't need to be perfect. I only need to be present. A personal reflection. For years I said, I'm just not focused. And so I wasn't. Until I changed the narrative. I'm the type of person who keeps showing up, no matter what. And slowly, that became true. You are not your weakness. You are your next decision. The Stoic doesn't identify with failure. They identify with effort. With progress. With choosing who they are, every single day. You don't have to erase the past. You just have to outgrow it. One strong step every day. You don't need a giant leap. You just need to move forward, consistently, deliberately, daily. This is how the Stoic rebuilds. Not through inspiration, but through discipline. Because discipline is the muscle that breaks the chain of weakness. And every time you show up, when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when no one sees, you're casting a vote for the stronger version of yourself. Seneca said, well-being is attained little by little, and yet it is no little thing itself. That means the strongest path is not heroic. It's habitual. So what does one strong step look like? It's choosing to get up with the alarm, not the excuse. The battle begins in the first 10 seconds of your day. Win that, and momentum begins. It's writing one honest sentence in your journal. Not to perform, but to reflect. That clarity compounds. It's saying no, once, to what weakens you. That impulse, that habit, that person. You choose peace over comfort. And no, it won't feel powerful at first. It may feel small, boring, insignificant. But so does the first drop of rain that becomes a flood. The Stoic doesn't ask, did this change my life today? They ask, did I change my direction today? Because if you win today, just once, you are no longer powerless. You are now someone who can choose. And choice is strength. Here's your practice. Each morning ask, what is one strong step I can take today? Then take it. No negotiation. No delay. And before you sleep ask, did I do one thing today that made me stronger? Let that be your standard, not perfection, but participation. Because strength is not built in moments of glory. It's built in the silence of small decisions. In the repetition of hard choices. In the discipline of one strong step, every day. And when the world pushes back, you push back harder. Not with rage, but with resolve. That's Stoic power. Quiet. Unshakable. Yours. Number 2. Conquer fear and anxiety the Stoic way. Where does fear come from? Fear doesn't start with the situation. It starts with the story. Epictetus said it best. We are disturbed not by events, but by our view of them. You're not afraid because something happened. You're afraid because of what you think it means. The job interview didn't scare you. The thought of rejection did. The silence in a message isn't painful. The story that I'm not enough is. To the Stoics, fear is not an enemy to be destroyed, it's a signal to be studied. A teacher. A reflection of where your attachments, judgments, and false expectations live. When your mind perceives a threat, your nervous system reacts. Heart races. Palms sweat. Breath shortens. But here's the thing, your body doesn't know the difference between physical danger and emotional discomfort. Between, this lion might eat me, and, this person might ignore me. The response is the same. That's where fear becomes a thief. Not because it's loud, but because it's quiet, constant, and mostly unconscious. And most people? They never question it. The Stoic does. They pause when fear arises and ask, is this real or imagined? Is this danger or just discomfort? Is this thing I'm afraid of within my control, or not? And that last question is the key. If something is within your control, take action. If it's not, release it. The moment you start sorting your fear through this lens, your mind clears. Your body softens. You no longer try to fight reality, you train to face it. Here's a simple practice. When you feel fear, write down the exact thought. Then ask, what is the story I'm telling myself right now? Most fear begins with a lie disguised as logic. The Stoics weren't fearless. They were aware. And awareness gave them space to choose, not react. Fear will always visit. That's not weakness. That's being human. But the moment you start investigating it, rather than obeying it, you step into power. Not the power to eliminate fear entirely, but the power to walk forward with it. That's where the Stoic begins. Not when fear disappears, but when you stop giving it the microphone. Identify the hidden fears. Not all fears scream. Some whisper. You don't always walk around saying, I'm afraid. Sometimes it sounds like, I'm just not ready yet. They probably won't be interested. What if I mess this up? These are the voices of hidden fears, quiet, subtle, and deeply rooted. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of not being enough. They don't always show up as panic attacks. Sometimes they show up as hesitation, procrastination, self-sabotage disguised as logic. And the worst part? You start believing these thoughts are facts. But the Stoics remind us, they are not. They are only beliefs, unquestioned, unexamined, and untrained. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. So how do you begin to uncover the hidden fears? Start with stillness. Grab a journal. Ask yourself this. What am I truly afraid of right now? Write without judgment. No editing. No justifying. Just write. You might find fears like, I'm afraid I'll never be good enough. I'm afraid I'll succeed and still feel empty. I'm afraid they'll leave if they see the real me. These are what I call silent fears. Not loud enough to stop your life, but strong enough to slow your growth. Next, name your biggest silent fear. Then ask, what has this fear made me avoid? Maybe it's applying for that job, or speaking up, or simply asking for what you need. These tiny avoidances shape your identity over time. But awareness interrupts that process. Once you name the fear, you stop being ruled by it. You don't need to fix the fear today. You just need to see it clearly. Because clarity weakens confusion, and confusion is where fear thrives. The Stoic isn't fearless. The Stoic is brutally honest. They know the only thing worse than fear is pretending it's not there. So if you've been shrinking silently, second-guessing yourself, or numbing what you feel, pause, name it, and begin the work. Because once you stop hiding from fear, you begin healing with truth. The Stoic response to fear: 3 steps to handle anxiety. The Stoics didn't run from fear. They faced it. But not with aggression. With awareness, naming, and discipline. There are 3 core Stoic responses when anxiety arises. Think of them as a loop you can return to anytime your mind starts spinning and your chest tightens. 1. Name the feeling. Don't rush to distract yourself. Don't numb it. Don't bury it under work, scrolling, or pretending to be fine. Instead, pause. Take a breath. And ask, what exactly am I feeling right now? Maybe it's fear of rejection. Fear of looking foolish. Fear that you're not enough. The Stoic begins here, by shining a light into the fog. Because you can't overcome what you refuse to admit. 2. Label the story. Now go deeper. What am I telling myself that's making me anxious? Often the feeling isn't about what's happening. It's about the story attached to it. If I fail, they'll never respect me. If they don't reply, it means I don't matter. If I make a mistake, I'll lose everything. But these are interpretations, not truths. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Labeling the story puts distance between you and the panic. It breaks the trance. You move from being inside the fear to observing it. 3. Return to control. Finally ask, what part of this is mine to control? You can't control the outcome. You can't control others' opinions. But you can control your response, your breathing, your next action. This is where Stoicism becomes power. The shift from helplessness to grounded presence. Let go of what isn't yours. Focus fully on what is. Repeat the loop whenever needed. Name the feeling. Label the story. Return to control. Every time you complete this mental cycle, you rewire your relationship with fear. You stop being a slave to anxiety and become its master. Fear may still knock on your door, but you don't have to answer it blindly. You can pause, observe, and choose. And that choice is where your freedom begins. Breathe through fear. Train like a warrior. When the mind spirals, the body forgets how to breathe. The Stoics didn't just train their thoughts, they trained their breath. Because in the heat of fear, wisdom lives in the lungs. Imagine this: a soldier before battle, a speaker before a crowd, a student before an exam. All of them feel fear. But only the trained one knows how to breathe through it. In Stoicism, breath is a tool, an anchor to the present moment. When emotions surge, the Stoic doesn't react. They return to the body. Box breathing is one of the most effective practices, used by philosophers, soldiers, and elite performers. Here's how it works. Inhale slowly through the nose, 4 seconds. Hold the breath, 4 seconds. Exhale gently through the mouth, 4 seconds. Hold empty, 4 seconds. Repeat for 4 to 5 rounds. As you do this, notice your heart rate slows. Your muscles relax. Your mind clears. The practice isn't just about calming down, it's about regaining command. Epictetus taught that we should practice in small things what we'll need in greater ones. Breath work is exactly that. A small act. A powerful reset. Try this the next time fear visits. Don't resist it. Don't argue with it. Just breathe with it. Let your breath become your rhythm. Your shield. Your practice ground for courage. Breath is the bridge between thought and action. And in every inhale, you are reminding your body, I am safe. I am present. I choose how I respond. You don't have to be fearless to be powerful. You just have to stay long enough in your body to let the wave pass. And with breath, the wave always passes. Turn anxiety into an ally, not an enemy. Here's the truth the Stoics understood. Fear is not your enemy. It's a message. What if your anxiety wasn't trying to destroy you, but direct you? What if it wasn't a curse, but a compass? The Stoics believed every emotion is a signal, not a sentence. It's there to be read, not rejected. So next time anxiety rises, ask, what is this fear trying to show me? Maybe it's reminding you that you care. Maybe it's pointing you toward growth. Maybe it's challenging you to rise. Marcus Aurelius didn't see fear as weakness. He saw it as raw energy, something that could be redirected toward virtue. Like a fire. It can burn your house down. Or it can cook your next meal. It depends on whether you learn to use it. Here's how the Stoic transforms anxiety. Listen to it. What message is it carrying? What is it trying to protect? Channel it. Take that energy and apply it to disciplined action. Write, speak, move, prepare. Thank it. Yes, thank it. Because every fear that shows up gives you a doorway to grow stronger. Seneca once wrote, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Anxiety doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're alive, aware, and standing at the edge of something meaningful. So don't fight it. Don't run. Use it. Let it remind you who you want to become. Fear is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a stronger one. If you choose to walk through it like a Stoic. Fear is not the enemy. Forgetting your power is. Fear will visit you. Again and again. It will wear many faces: failure, rejection, uncertainty, not being enough. But the Stoic does not tremble. Because the Stoic knows. Fear is not the real enemy. Forgetting your power is. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to recognize it. Name it. Breathe through it. And then, use it. Every fear you face is an invitation. To grow sharper. To move closer to truth. To practice control, not escape. And the Stoic way is not loud. It's not about shouting, I'm brave. It's about whispering, I'm ready. Fear loses its grip not when it disappears, but when you stop obeying it. So the next time your heart races, your hands shake, your thoughts spin. Remember this. You were built for this. Your breath is your anchor. Your mind is your weapon. And your philosophy is your shield. Walk forward. Gently. Bravely. Stoically. Number 3. 6 daily habits to build an unbreakable Stoic mind. Habit number 1. Wake up with intention. No snooze, no excuses. The Stoic doesn't sleep through life. They begin each day like a warrior walking into battle. Marcus Aurelius wrote, when you have trouble getting out of bed in the morning, remind yourself, I wake up to do the work of a human being. Waking up is not just about time. It's about taking command of your life, before the world does. When you hit snooze, you're not just delaying 5 minutes. You're breaking a promise to yourself. The day starts not with purpose, but with surrender. That's not a neutral act. It's a quiet form of self-betrayal. The Stoic rises not because they feel like it. They rise because they choose to. Not for success. Not for praise. But because discipline is freedom. It doesn't matter if you wake at 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. What matters is, did you rise on your terms? Or did comfort win again? Morning practice, Stoic wake-up ritual. Set your alarm 30 minutes earlier. Do not snooze. Upon waking, write one line. Today I rise to. Perform one physical act of presence. Splash cold water on your face. Step into sunlight. Take 3 slow, conscious breaths. You don't need to be the earliest to wake. You just need to be the one who wakes with a reason. The Stoic begins the day not by checking the world, but by checking their own posture. Not the spine, but the soul. Habit number 2. Keep a Stoic journal. See yourself before the world does. Before the world judges you, the Stoic asks, have I judged myself first, honestly, clearly, compassionately? That's what Stoic journaling is about. Not venting. Not poetic writing. But returning to your own mind before the world pulls it in 10 directions. Marcus Aurelius did it every morning and every night. He wasn't writing to publish. He was writing to stay awake inside his own life. When you rise in the morning, ask, what am I expected to do as a human today? Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. The Stoic journal is not a record of what happened. It's a reflection of how you met it. Morning practice, before the world touches you. What might test me today? What virtue will I practice in response? What is within my control right now? Evening practice, before the world fades. Where did I act out of fear, ego, or impulse? Where did I hold my center? What do I want to repeat or repair tomorrow? Even 5 minutes of honest journaling each day can create the kind of self-awareness most people spend a lifetime avoiding. It's not about overthinking. It's about overseeing, stepping back and becoming your own inner guide. Some days you'll write 1 sentence, other days a flood. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you sit with your mind and say, let's see what's here, before it controls me. Because if you don't observe your thoughts, they will drive your life. And you'll call it fate. The Stoic doesn't wait for insight. They create a space for it, daily, quietly, and with courage. This journal is not a habit. It's a mirror. And if you're willing to look, it will show you the only person you need to master. Yourself. Habit number 3. Choose action over emotion. Let virtue lead, not impulse. The Stoic is not emotionless. They are emotionally trained. They don't suppress feelings. They just refuse to be led by them. When anger rises, when fear tightens the chest, when frustration demands to be unleashed, the untrained react. The Stoic pauses. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Emotion is a signal, not a command. And the moment you confuse the two, you become a slave to your mood, not a master of your mind. Here's the core question the Stoic asks. Is what I'm about to do based on impulse, or on principle? The world will tempt you to respond to everything. That rude comment. That delay? That email that needs an immediate reply. But the Stoic understands. Just because a feeling is loud doesn't mean it's wise. They don't act to release pressure. They act to reveal character. Try this 4-step Stoic pause. Feel the emotion, don't fight it. Breathe, 1 deep inhale and exhale. Ask, what's in my control right now? Act with virtue, not ego, not fear, not pride. You don't need to suppress what you feel. You just need to choose what you follow. Anyone can yell. Anyone can react. But to stand still in the fire of your emotions and respond with clarity, calm, and courage. That's power. The Stoic doesn't seek to feel less. They train to be moved only by what matters. Let emotions visit. Let reason decide. That's how you act, not like everyone else, but like the person you're becoming. Habit number 4. Train the body to train the will. Discipline begins in the flesh. The Stoics never separated mind and body. They saw the body as a training ground for the soul. Epictetus, who walked with a limp and lived in hardship, said, "Difficulties show what men are." And what better way to invite difficulty, safely, daily, deliberately, than physical training? Not for aesthetics, not for praise, but for command. Every time you move your body with discipline, you teach your mind one thing. I can do hard things, and I won't back down. When you feel resistance and move anyway, you're not just building muscle. You're building self-respect. The Stoic doesn't need a gym. They need a reason. And that reason is always the same. To strengthen what is weak, and to master what is wild. Simple Stoic physical practice. Pick one small exercise, push-ups, squats, walking, cold showers. Do it every day, especially when you don't feel like it. While doing it, repeat, I am not here for comfort. I am here to sharpen my will. Your body holds your habits. It remembers your choices. And if you teach it to obey comfort, it will. But if you train it to respond to principle, you walk into the world differently. The Stoic doesn't seek perfection. They seek alignment. When the mind commands and the body follows, you carry yourself with quiet strength. Not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you've proven it to yourself, in silence, day after day. The gym is optional. The discipline is not. Habit number 5, disconnect to reconnect. Create silence to hear what matters. The Stoics lived in busy, chaotic worlds. Crowds in the streets. Politics in turmoil. Wars on the borders. But they carved out silence, not as luxury, but as a necessity for clarity. Seneca warned, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." Modern life is louder than ancient Rome ever was. Endless pings. Scrolling. Noise dressed as news. Connection without depth. So what does the Stoic do? They step away, not to escape the world, but to return to themselves. This habit is not anti-technology. It's pro-awareness. The point is not to abandon your phone forever. The point is to choose silence before the noise chooses your attention. Because if you don't protect your mind, it will become a dumping ground for other people's urgency. Daily practice. The digital sunset. 1 hour before bed, shut off all screens. Light a candle. Sit with a notebook, or simply breathe. Ask, what did I miss today while chasing everything else? Even 15 minutes without input allows something sacred to arise. Your own thoughts. That's what Stoicism protects, not the illusion of control, but the space to reflect. You don't need constant updates. You need inner stability. And that only comes when you disconnect from the world long enough to reconnect with your principles. Let silence become your sanctuary. Let boredom become your teacher. Let presence replace distraction. The Stoic doesn't fear stillness. They require it. To reset the mind. To sharpen the soul. To remember who they are. Before the world tells them who to be. Habit number 6. End the day with stillness. Return to yourself before sleep. The world sees how you begin your day, but only you will know how you end it. And that's where transformation begins. Not in performance, but in reflection. The Stoics practiced what modern science now confirms. A short moment of stillness before sleep doesn't just rest the body. It reclaims the mind. Marcus Aurelius often ended his days by writing, not for memory, but for mastery. Where did I act according to my principles today? Where did I fall short? What will I do better tomorrow? Not with guilt, not with self-attack, but with honest recalibration. The Stoic doesn't demand perfection from their day. They demand clarity from their response to it. This is how a Stoic ends the day. Gratitude: what small moments made today worth living? Adjustment: where did I get swept away by emotions or ego? Reset: what intention will I carry into tomorrow? It takes 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes determine who you are becoming. Because most people go to bed with a phone. The Stoic goes to bed with a journal. Or with a quiet mind sharpened by review. This is not romantic. It's responsible. You can't control how your day unfolded. But you can control how you close it. Don't let sleep fall upon your eyelids before you have reviewed the day. Seneca. This habit makes sure your growth isn't left to chance. You don't drift toward virtue. You choose it. You return to it, night after night. And that's the truth the Stoics knew. Success is not what happens to you. Success is how often you return to yourself. So before you sleep, don't scroll. Don't escape. Sit still. Look within. And quietly come home. The Stoic journey is a return, not a reinvention. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to come back to what's already wise, already calm, already powerful within you. The Stoic path doesn't promise an easier life. It offers you a stronger mind in the life you already have. No more chasing noise. No more reacting to everything. Now you move with purpose. You pause before you speak. You train your breath, your body, your choices. This is not motivation. This is preparation. So before you go, don't just watch this and scroll on. Reflect. Decide. Act. Ask yourself, which habit will I live today, not just think about? Then, subscribe to True Stoic Mindset, not for entertainment, but for real practice. Leave a comment. What truth hit you hardest today? This channel isn't for everyone. It's for those ready to rise, not louder but clearer. Not stronger in appearance, but stronger in presence. And if that's you, welcome to the Mindset. The True Stoic Mindset. We begin again. Right now.